Stone giants. The mountains of Middle-earth aren't still. They breathe, they move, and sometimes they throw rocks the size of houses at each other just for fun.
Well, bless me. The legends are true. Giants! Stone giants!
High above the clouds, where even the eagles hesitate to soar, the stone giants wander. Colossal silhouettes made of living rock, striding across the peaks as if the mountains themselves had come alive. When they walk, the world trembles. Valleys echo like drums. Travelers often mistake their battles for thunderstorms. You'll see flashes in the night, hear the rumble roll down the cliffs, and think it's the weather, until the weather starts throwing boulders back. No one truly knows where they came from. Some say Aule, the smith of the Valor, shaped them in some forgotten age, experiments that wandered off into legend. Others believe they were never made at all, but simply born from the mountains themselves. The will of the stone, given motion. They're not evil, not even cruel. Just impossibly large, impossibly old, and too busy playing their sky-sized games to notice what lies below. It's the kind of sight that silences even the bravest souls, because in that moment you realize Middle-earth isn't just alive, it's aware. Dwarrowdelf bats. The bats of Moria are not creatures of the night. They are creatures of the deep dark. Their wings stretch as wide as shields. Their eyes are not eyes, but embers in the blackness. When they swarm, the very tunnels seem to breathe. They hunt with sound. Their shrieks become a storm, echoing off stone until direction has no meaning. Some say the dwarves themselves bred them. Others whisper they were here first, things of the ancient dark, feeding on silence long before the dwarves delved. Mirkwood spiders. The giant spiders of Mirkwood are not mere beasts. They are hunters, and the entire forest is their web. Their story begins with an ancient evil. They are the descendants of Shelob, who herself was the last child of Ungoliant, the primordial spider of shadow who devoured the light of the two trees of Valinor. That endless hunger is their inheritance. In The Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins discovers this firsthand. The spiders don't just hunt, they speak. They taunt their prey with dark, cruel whispers from the shadows, as they wrap them in silk. Their webs are strong as steel cables, and their venom is a poison that brings a slow, numb paralysis. The elves of Thranduil's Hall knew them as a constant threat, a plague that infested the woods the necromancer had corrupted. It's a thinking, hungry malice. It remembers the first darkness, and it is always, always hunting. Werewolves. In the deep pits of Angband, Morgoth made his werewolves, but they were not man nor beast. They were evil spirits, demons, trapped in wolf form. Their leader was Draugluin, a hound of nightmare, ancient and proud. But the greatest was Carcharoth, the Red Maw. Grown by Morgoth himself, he was a monster of pure hunger. His fate was to bite off the hand of Beren, consuming a Silmaril. The holy light burned him from within, driving him mad with a pain that only death could end. They did not hunt for food. They hunted for ruin. Their howl was a promise of the void. So if you read of wolves with a demon's intelligence behind their eyes, remember the werewolves of Angband. They were the Dark Lord's will made fang. Fire drakes. The lesser dragons. Not all dragons tower over mountains. Some stalk the earth, hidden in the cracks of the world. Fire drakes, the lesser kin of the great worms, burn with the same ancient fury, only smaller, sharper, and quicker. Their scales glow like living embers, shifting from crimson to gold as if molten rock breathes beneath their skin. When they exhale, it's not a roaring inferno, but a razor-thin flame, precise, hungry, and cruel. They move fast, darting through forests and stone passes with the grace of predators who've learned patience. You never see one coming, only the smell of smoke, the faint shimmer of heat in the air, and the hiss that follows. Some say these creatures were left behind when the great dragons fell, remnants of Morgoth's forges, too stubborn to die. Others whisper they are self-born, the living fire of Arda, given teeth and rage. Travelers speak of finding scorched paths in wild valleys, and sometimes bones blackened to dust. So if you smell ash where there should be none, you're already too close. The Ancient Guardians. Middle-earth's deep woods are not just filled with trees. They are watched. Before the elves awoke, the Vala Yavanna created the shepherds of the trees, the Ents, to protect the forests. But she also foresaw other guardians. She asked for beasts that would have reverence enough to not harm the flora, and strength to defend it. The great eagles were Manwë's answer. They are not mere birds, but ancient, intelligent beings of immense power, dwelling in the high places and watching the lands below. In the darkest woods, older things linger. The horns, trees that are almost ents, or ents that have become tree-like, move in silence, their anger slow and terrible. And in the tales of the First Age, great wolves and other creatures were filled with fell spirits, making them more than beast. These are not random animals. They are the oldest inhabitants of Arda, some serving the light, others corrupted by the shadow. Scatha the Worm. Most tales of dragons speak of fire and flight, like Smaug of the Third Age. But the colder, older terror was Scatha. He was a long worm of the Grey Mountains, a great cold drake of the north. His kind plagued the dwarves for centuries, driving them from their halls long before the dragons of the Withered Heath were known. Scatha's end came not at the hands of a dwarf, but from a man. Fram, a lord of the Otheod, the ancestors of the Rohirrim, slew the worm and claimed his vast hoard. But the hoard itself was the seed of a longer conflict. The dwarves of that region claimed it was stolen from their plundered halls and demanded its return. Fram's response was one of legendary insolence. He sent them the teeth of the dragon, strung into a necklace with the message, "Jewels such as these you will not match in your treasuries, for they are hard to come by." The dwarves did not forget this insult. Some accounts suggest they later killed Fram for it. The hoard itself was scattered, but a portion of it, including the mighty horn later given to Merry Brandybuck, passed down through the line of Eorl the Young. Scatha's story is not one of a single great battle, but of a lasting shadow. He was a remnant of the ancient North, whose death created a feud between dwarves and men that echoed for generations. The Barrow-wights. Long before the ring-wraiths hunted the Shire, a colder evil slept in the hills of Eriador. They are the Barrow-wights of the Barrow Downs. Their origin is a deliberate act of sorcery. After the fall of the kingdom of Angmar, the Witch-king sent evil spirits to inhabit the ancient burial mounds of the kings of Arnor. These were not the ghosts of the buried kings, but parasitic spirits, claiming the tombs and their treasures. Their power was one of cold enchantment. They could weave a spell of unnatural sleep and freezing dread, trapping intruders in the dark. The wight that confronted the hobbits sang a chilling incantation. Cold be hand and heart and bone, to prepare them for a sacrificial death. Their end came from a power older than they were. Tom Bombadil, the master of the Old Forest, was immune to their magic. He broke their spells, routed them from the barrow, and freed the hobbits from the tomb. From that barrow, the hobbits took ancient daggers of Westerness, forged by the Dunedain to fight the servants of Angmar long ago. One of these blades would later pierce the Witch-king's lieutenant at Weathertop. The Barrow-wights were more than ghosts. They were a lingering weapon, a sentinel of a defeated evil placed in a grave to guard against the return of the light. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.